All right, so it is Thursday, and it's guitar review day. Thursday guitar day, review day, the day I review a guitar. When I have one to review, so I got a new one to review, and I'll have another one shortly too. I guess it won't be mine, but a little bird told me that something is on the way, which might be kind of cool for me because I'm not used to. I've never had one of those. But today, I've got a Stratocaster, and it is a custom shop Stratocaster with a rosewood fingerboard. It is a it is a 65 reissue, custom shop reissue. It is lightly aged, so it's considered a relic. I really hate that word, relic. Relic. Anyway, I associate relics with World War II artifacts, a war relic like a helmet or a rifle or a medal or something. This is not a relic. This is a guitar that was made to look old. While I do not have a problem with making a guitar look old for aesthetic purposes, I do have a problem with them calling it a relic. But semantics, right? We could get into all this tomato business. However, it's made to look old. It's got a green pickguard, if you can see that in this light. And it's got, you could call it aged pickups, aged knobs, and a switch. It is 5-position. It comes with a 3-position in the case. It's got an older looking headstock, which I think looks awesome. In fact, it looks great. The machines are the old kind, the old Kluson kind. And it's Fender Custom Shop logo on there. Limited edition, by the way. We'll talk about that in a sec. It's got a great back, tricolor burst, and there is checking. Very small, very difficult to detect, but it is definitely there. And it looks great. I love this thin skin nitro. It's not a thin skin nitro. It is a thin... Okay, thin skin nitro is a different line than this, but it is a thinner nitro. Beautiful rosewood board, and in 65, I mean, in the year this was made, this was a 2006 production model. I think they were still using Brazilian. That's right. I think this is Brazilian. For those who are fandoms of the Brazilian Del Bergia Negra species, this is one kick-ass feeling neck fretboard. It really is. And that's a big part of the reason why I bought it. I wanted to see how this Stratocaster felt and sounded in my hands. And I'll tell you what, there's some ups and downs about Strats for me. And not that I'm digging on Strats all of a sudden. I've always loved them. I've always had a thing for Stratocasters. But my love lies with the Les Paul, and it'll never change, I don't think, ever. There's just more meat per mile, if you will. It's more like a steak, and this is fish. So, red meat steak. So, hang on. Take this as my steak, and that's my fish. Steak, fish. Which one do you want, steak or fish, right? This is red meat, by the way. Red meat, baby. Okay, so this is white meat. We can call this white meat. This is red meat. This is white meat. Whatever, man. There's more weight to the Les Paul, and therefore it just feels a bit different in my hand. So this Stratocaster is also a WildWood 10. What does that mean, WildWood 10? So WildWood is a store, I guess, who has enough clout with these big guitar companies to say, hey, I want to place an order with these specs, and that's what they did. And they said, one of the things we really, really want to see is a neck that has a radius that's closer to Les Paul. And they did. So this is a 10-inch radius rather than the 9.5 or 7.5 that the early Stratocasters had. And the reason for that is the notes will choke out on a rounder radius. And when I talk about radius, we're talking about the curve, this curve here, right here. So if you were to take a 10-inch round thing, a barrel that's 10 inches, this section of it would be called, this curvature would be the radius. So you could take a 10-inch telescope. I have a 10-inch telescope actually over there. And I could line up the radius of the telescope and it would match. So that's what that means. So a 9.5 to a 10, it's a half an inch. Well, you know what? It turns out that it's just enough so that the note doesn't choke out. And when you bend on a Les Paul, almost never have that problem. Let me get it bended now. So it works. You can adjust you can make any neck bend as you want, but you're going to sacrifice. There's going to be a trade-off between how low you can get the strings to the frets to how far you can bend the string, and that's because of that radius. If it's too much of a curve, it's going to run into the physics are there. It's going to run into the curve of the fret, and it's going to choke out the note. So WildWood said, hey, Fender, let's make a 10-inch radius so that we can put bigger frets, and you can take the 65 model Stratocaster and actually make it playable for today's music. And I think it was a brilliant idea, and they came up with it back a while ago. And don't quote me, guys. I think it was 2006, and this is the first year for these, I think. I can't find a whole lot of information on it. Anyway, it's a limited edition. 2006 65 Stratocaster tri-burst. It's got a green mint green top, or not top, pick guard that has the triple ply. It's got a bridge, the old one, and it's got overwound pickups that have I guess a deeper bite. They're also noisy. It's also kind of noisy. Let's see what this other guitar sounds. I just relearned that. So I'm playing through the first amp. The clean amp is a 67 trainer. It has that chime for Great Country, which I'm not a country player at all. So here's what the pickups sound like, and I'm not real trebly. And then here's these two. All three. Well, I like that. Wow, I just put new caps in that amp. Sounds fucking great. And then this is these two. You know, I'm having the same problems with a small neck as I always do. So, what does that tell you? So this is this pickup. Other amp, 100 watt Marshall, which is turned way up, and you can't really tell.